No! What are you doing? You made a mistake! I couldn't believe what I was seeing. How could the police think that Liam was responsible for Lucy's murder?
You've got the wrong guy. Our son could never harm anyone.
Liam's parents looked devastated as we watched the police handcuff Liam and lead him out to the waiting police car. He looked scared as he gave us a weak smile.
Don't worry, I'm sure this will all get sorted out and I'll be home before you know it.
But even though he said it, he didn't sound convinced. But before I go on with this story, make sure that you like and subscribe to our channel. I promise you'll be very happy that you did. As soon as the police drove off, I turned on Liam's parents. How could you let them arrest him?
What could we do to stop them?
You could have told them the truth.
What truth?
That you were the ones that killed Lucy. Liam's mom looked at me in shock.
We didn't kill Marley. How could you think that?
Don't try to deny it. I know you did it.
What are you talking about? Are you crazy?
I hesitated for a second. I didn't know what to believe anymore. Liam's parents did seem really honest and sincere. Maybe I've got it all wrong. Well, I'm not just going to sit around here waiting for Liam to come home. I'm going down to the police station to get some answers. When I arrived at the station, I marched straight up to the sergeant at the desk. I want to know why you have arrested Liam. I know he's innocent. What reason would you have for arresting him?
I'm sorry, young lady, but I don't think you know your boyfriend that well. We have plenty of evidence.
Like what?
Well, for one thing, we found traces of Liam's hair on Lucy's body.
That's easily explainable. Of course Liam's hair could be on Lucy's body. They lived in the same house, didn't they?
Well, maybe after you see this, you might not be so convinced that he's innocent.
The policeman began to play a video of the security camera footage.
We recovered this from Liam's parents' camera.
As I watched the video play, my heart slowly began to sink. The footage showed someone dragging a body towards the lake. There was no denying it. It definitely looked like Liam because that person was wearing the same pajamas that Liam had worn that night. The color drained from my face. I was so shocked, I felt numb inside. It can't be Liam. We slept in the same bed that night. Surely I would have known if he had left, right? Can I see him, please?
You can have 5 minutes with him. That's all, okay?
Okay, thank you. The policeman showed me to a room at the back of the station.
Wait in here and we'll bring Liam to speak with you.
As I sat there nervously waiting for him, I couldn't help but wonder if he really was the murderer. How could I have got it so wrong? Liam has always been the nicest, kindest of boyfriends. Could he really have hidden this dark side from me? Liam had never given me any reason to think that he might be a bad guy. I mean, he wouldn't even step on an ant. But I couldn't argue with the evidence. It was there in black and white. It had clearly shown Liam dragging a body down into the lake. But all the time we have spent together, surely he would have slipped up at some point and showed me his true colors. It was all so confusing. My head hurt from trying to process everything I had just learned.
Marley!
Liam! I tried to run and give him a hug, but the policeman stopped me.
No physical contact.
Liam and I sat down opposite each other at the table.
Marley, I didn't do this. You do believe me, don't you?
I hesitated for a second. Yes, of course I believe you.
Good. I need you to do something for me.
Okay, what?
I want you to ask my parents to help get me out of here.
Yes, I can do that.
Tell them to get the best lawyer they can, okay?
Yes, but first I need to tell you something, Liam. He gave me a curious look.
What?
I think it's your parents that killed Lucy.
What? No way.
It's the only logical explanation. If you didn't kill her, it must have been your parents.
Marley, I'm telling you, they would never do such a thing.
But how can you be sure?
I just am, okay?
I could tell that Liam was starting to get angry and I didn't want to have an argument with him, so I pretended that I agreed with him. Yes, of course, I'm sorry. Of course your parents wouldn't have killed Lucy. Just ignore me. I think I'm just panicking about you being under arrest.
It's okay. All of us are scared right now. It's normal to jump to the wrong conclusion.
Okay, your 5 minutes are up. You'll have to leave now.
I'll make sure your parents get some help for you, okay?
Thank you.
I left the police station and went straight back to Liam's house. As soon as I got there, his parents started bombarding me with questions.
How is he? What did he say to you?
Have they got any evidence?
He's fine. He just wants you to get some help for him.
Of course. We will get the very best.
Suddenly, I started sobbing.
What's the matter, Marley? What is it?
I'm not sure anyone will be able to help him.
Why?
It's the police. They have some footage of a man dragging the body into the lake. They said it was Liam.
Well, we have one way of proving it wasn't Liam.
How?
We can look at the footage of the bedrooms from that night.
What? You have cameras in the bedrooms?
Yes, we do.
Even though I was really mad at such an invasion of privacy, I was keen to see what the footage would show. The three of us went into Liam's dad's office and he began to play the footage from the night. You could clearly see Liam and I going into the bed and getting into bed. At no point during the night did Liam leave the room.
There, we have the proof. All we need to do now is show the police and they will have to let Liam go.
What are we waiting for then? The three of us went straight back to the police station. Once the police had seen the camera footage of the room, they had no choice but to let Liam go.
Well, it seems like all of you are cleared of any suspicion, but unfortunately that puts us back at square one. If none of you killed Lucy, then who did?
We all looked at each other, baffled. Who could the person have been wearing the same pajamas as Liam, dragging the body into the lake? When we got back to Liam's house, I made an excuse that I was tired and went up to my room. I needed some time alone to think. I didn't know who to trust anymore. Even though I knew that Liam was innocent, part of me was still suspicious of his parents. Sure, they hadn't killed Lucy themselves. The camera footage had shown that they were in bed all night too. But that didn't mean that they hadn't hired someone else to do it for them. But if that was the case, why would they have framed their own son for it? I really didn't know what to think anymore. My head hurt from trying to work everything out. I lay down on the bed and closed my eyes. I had just dozed off to sleep when my phone pinged. I had a text message. I wonder who that could be from. I picked my phone up and read the text. Meet me at the lake at 1 a.m. L. L? Who's L? Could it be Liam? But why wouldn't he just tell me in person? Unless he's worried that his parents might hear. Or maybe they might have bugged the room. I mean, if they have cameras watching us, it wouldn't surprise me if they were listening to us too. I decided that I wouldn't mention the message to Liam. It was obvious that he didn't want his parents to know that he wanted me to meet him at the lake. I set my alarm for 1 a.m. and went back to sleep. I leaned over and switched the alarm off. I looked around to see if Liam was there, but he was nowhere to be seen. He must have already gone down to the lake. I grabbed hold of my jacket and put it on top of my pajamas. Quietly, I crept out of the room and down the stairs, avoiding the creaking stairs as I went. As I walked out into the garden, I looked out at the lake. It was lit up from the light of the moon, and I could just make out someone standing at the edge of the lake. Oh, there's Liam. I ran down through the garden and straight towards Liam. When I was within a few meters of him, he turned around. That's when I got the shock of my life. It wasn't Liam after all. It was Lucy. She's alive! What is going on? How can Lucy be alive? Lucy, how can you be here? We thought you were dead.
I'm sorry, I had to let you think that.
But why?
Look, I'm not who you think I am.
What do you mean?
I'm not a maid. I'm actually a spy, and I've been investigating Liam and his parents for a while now.
I was really shocked when she said that. I can't believe what I am hearing.
I know, it's a lot to take in, isn't it?
That's a bit of an understatement.
I know that Liam's parents are in an illegal business. That's how they became so rich.
But I saw your body in the lake.
That wasn't me, it was a fake body.
I shook my head. This is insane.
I know you're probably shocked, but I didn't have a choice. I had to get Liam's parents to reveal what they were hiding.
So how did you do it?
I faked my own death. I knew that eventually someone would find my body in the lake, and then the police would have to come and investigate.
But why would you want the police here?
Isn't it obvious?
Maybe to you it is, seeing as you're a spy, but it's not to me.
Okay, I'll explain then. I thought that if the police came here, then Liam's parents would be bound to make a slip up somewhere. I thought that if the police were hanging around, they might panic and accidentally expose something about themselves and their shady business dealings.
And did they?
Unfortunately, not. Nothing came up that could be used to incriminate them.
But I still don't understand who it was that was wearing Liam's pajamas.
That was me. I dressed up in Liam's pajamas so that the police would think it was him that had killed me. I dragged the fake body down through the garden and dumped it into the lake. Then, as soon as Liam was arrested, I sent a ransom note to his parents.
What did the note say? Lucy reached into her pocket and pulled out a piece of paper.
Here, you can read it for yourself.
She handed the note to me and I began to read it. Tell us your secret and we'll send you the footage proving your son's innocence.
You see, it wasn't Liam's parents that set up the cameras in the bedrooms. It was me.
Did his parents tell you their secret?
Yes, they did.
Did you tell the police?
No.
But why not?
The spy organization that I work for doesn't want me to be the one that goes to the police with the evidence. They need me to work on another mission, and if I go to the police, then my identity will be compromised. They wouldn't be able to risk sending me out into another case if the police and possibly the criminal community know who I am.
So who is going to tell the police then?
That's where you come in. Why do you think I asked you to meet me here tonight? I want you to be the one to tell the police what's been going on.
I thought about what Lucy was asking from me. I was slightly afraid of what Liam's parents might do to me if they knew that I was the one that had reported them to the police. But even though I was scared, I knew that I had to do the right thing. Okay, I'll do it. So what is their secret?
It's...
Lucy stopped talking. Her face was full of fear. I turned to see what she was looking at. Liam's parents were standing right behind me. If you want to see the final installment of this billionaire murder mystery story, make sure you get this video a great big like. Do you have any idea what their big secret is? Comment your predictions down below. Let's see if you guess correctly when we reveal their secret in the 4th and final episode. I looked at the clock on the wall. Thank goodness only 5 more minutes and then I could lock up for the day. I was exhausted. It had been one of the busiest days since I had started working in the coffee shop. It seemed as though every person in town had wanted a cup of coffee. Just then, I heard the door open. My heart sank. No, please not another customer. I turned around and was about to say that we were closed, but when I saw how good-looking the guy was, I stopped myself. Hello.
You're not closed, are you? Please tell me I can get a cup of coffee.
Even though I really wanted to get home, I wasn't going to miss out on an opportunity to get to know him. No, it's fine. What would you like?
Thank you. Just a cappuccino, please.
Coming right up. As I began to make the coffee, I tried to think of something to chat to him about. So how has your day been?
Well, it suddenly got a lot better.
I smiled shyly at him. Why would you say that?
Well, it's not every day you run into a pretty girl working in a coffee shop.
Oh my God, is he flirting with me? I could tell by the clothes he was wearing and the watch on his wrist that he was obviously very rich. Surely he wouldn't be interested in me, but it seemed like he was.
Say, what are you doing Saturday night?
Nothing really.
Great. This is my number. Send me your address and be ready by 8 p.m. I'll pick you up and take you out for dinner.
With that, he handed me a $50 bill, picked up his coffee, and walked out of the shop. Just before I continue, make sure you like and subscribe and hit that notification bell because you're not going to want to miss out on any more stories. I stood in my lounge looking out of the window. Sure enough, bang on 8 p.m., a huge black Mercedes pulled up in front of my house. When I got to the car, he jumped out and opened my door for me. Thank you. On the way to the restaurant, we chatted as though we had known each other for years. I couldn't believe how comfortable I felt with him. I had been feeling a bit worried that he might be a bit snobby, but he was the complete opposite. He was kind and nice and spent most of the evening making sure that I was having a good time. Even when the waiter came to take our order and I mispronounced beef bourguignon, he just laughed it off and told me that he was always making mistakes when ordering in a restaurant. He was a real gentleman too. He pulled my chair out for me and poured my drinks. I had never met anyone quite like him before. We spent the whole night laughing and giggling away, and at the end of the night when he dropped me home, I was hoping he would ask me out again.
I've had a great night tonight. You're really fun to be around, Marley.
I've had a good time too.
My parents are having a small party tomorrow. Would you like to come?
Oh yes, that would be lovely. He gave me his address.
Come over at about 2 o'clock.
I watched as he drove away. My heart was beating so fast, I thought it would explode. He wants to see me again. I can't believe it. The next day, when I got to his house, I got the shock of my life. I mean, sure, I was expecting his house to be nice, but nothing could have prepared me for the size and grandeur of the place. It was huge. The front of the house looked exactly like a palace. There was a fountain in the middle of the driveway that was easily as big as the famous Trevi fountain in Rome. When I rang the doorbell, a maid came and answered.
Hello, you must be Marley. Mr. Liam told me that you would be arriving. I'm Lucy.
Hi, Lucy.
Come in, come in.
I followed Lucy through the house. Everywhere I looked, there was gold and diamante. Huge chandeliers were hung from the ceiling and expensive-looking paintings were on every wall. When we reached the garden, Lucy pointed to the barbecue area.
The family are waiting over there for their guests.
I was shocked to see that at the bottom of the garden was a huge lake, and to the right of the lake was a golf course. These people must be seriously rich.
Marley, come over here. Let me introduce you to my parents.
I shook hands with his mom and dad. Hello, pleased to meet you. His parents were both really nice and kind to me, but even though they made me feel very welcome, I couldn't help feeling a bit out of place. I had never been in the company of billionaires before, so it was hard to know if I was saying the wrong thing or not. To be honest, I felt much more at ease when I was talking to Lucy. Just then, Lucy came over with some drinks for us.
Lucy, could you show Marley where the cloakroom is, please?
Yes, sir. Please come this way.
As I followed Lucy back into the house, I couldn't help but start gushing about Liam and his parents. Liam's parents are so lovely, aren't they? And this house, wow. Lucy looked around for a second and then whispered to me,
Be careful around them. They're not who they appear to be.
For a minute, I was confused, but then I laughed it off. She's probably just having a bit of fun. After I put my coat in the cloakroom, I went back and joined Liam and his parents outside. By then, some more guests had arrived, so Liam and I went and sat down on a bench at the bottom of the garden. You'll never guess what Lucy said to me when I went into the house with her.
What?
She told me that your parents aren't what they appear to be. I thought that Liam would just laugh it off, but he didn't say anything. When I saw this strange look appear on his face, I decided to change the subject. This garden is beautiful, and your parents are so nice. Liam smiled at me again.
They really like you, and so do I.
Liam and I began spending all of our free time together. He would come and pick me up from work, and we would usually go straight to his house. I would often sleep over as well. It didn't make sense for him to have to drive me all the way home when they had so many spare bedrooms at his house. I usually slept really well when I was at Liam's house, but one night, something woke me from my sleep. What's that noise? I could hear people talking. I looked out of the bedroom window and was shocked to see some trucks and people gathered in the garden. They were all wearing black, and as it was really dark, it was difficult to make out what they were doing. Suddenly, the moon came out from behind a cloud and lit up the scene for a minute. It looked like they were loading the trucks up with boxes of something.
Marley.
I nearly jumped out of my skin. I hadn't heard Liam coming up into my room. Liam, you made me jump.
You should go back to sleep, or you'll be tired in the morning.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right. I hopped back into bed and went straight back to sleep. The next morning, I went downstairs and found Liam sitting at the kitchen table with his mom.
Good morning, sleepyhead. I thought you were never going to get up.
I laughed. It's only 8 o'clock. Where's Lucy?
Oh, Lucy had a family emergency. I'm afraid she won't be working for us anymore.
I was surprised when I heard Liam's mom say that, and I felt a bit sad too. I had become quite good friends with Lucy. It was a shame that I wouldn't see her again. Oh, I hope that her family will be okay.
I'm sure everything will be fine. Anyway, Liam tells me you two are going to take the boat out on the lake later.
Yes, we are.
Well, it's a lovely day for it. The forecast says it's going to be hot and sunny all day.
I poured some cereal into my bowl, and as I began to eat, I thought about how lucky I was to be dating Liam. This time last year, I was slogging away in the coffee shop and spending my free time all alone. Now look at me. I have a wonderful boyfriend, and his family adore me. I really am so lucky.
Right, I've just got to nip out and do a few errands. Then as soon as I get back, I'll go out and start getting the boat ready.
Okay, I'll finish up my breakfast and have a shower whilst you're doing that. See you soon. Liam leaned over and gave me a kiss on the cheek.
I miss you already.
I watched as he walked through the garden and got into his car. He looked so handsome and muscular, it made my heart soar.
I'm so happy that Liam has met such a nice girl like you, Marley.
Why, thank you. What a nice thing to say.
It's true. I can see that you make him very happy.
And he makes me happy too. I picked up a bowl and went over to the sink.
Leave that. I will do the dishes. You go get yourself ready.
Are you sure?
Of course. You go make yourself look beautiful.
I had a quick shower, put on my swimsuit and shorts, and went back downstairs. It would be a while before Liam was back from running his errands, so I decided to take a look around the house. I had only seen about half of the place. It was so enormous, it would take weeks to see every room. I walked from room to room, each one as filled with the most expensive furniture and ornaments that money could buy. As I walked along the corridor from room to room, I suddenly noticed a bookshelf on one wall. I loved looking at old books, so I went over to take a look at what was there. I picked up a book and was about to start flipping through its pages when I noticed that behind the bookshelf was a door. I grabbed hold of the handle and started to turn it.
Marley?
I jumped nervously. It was Liam's dad standing behind me. "Oh, you made me jump. I was just exploring your beautiful house. What's in this room?"
Oh, you don't need to bother yourself looking in there. It's just an old storeroom. Definitely nothing to interest you. Anyway, I think I just heard Liam's car pull in the driveway. I think you should go out to the lake now. He'll be waiting for you.
Okay, see you later.
Yes, see you later.
I ran out of the house, through the garden, and down to the lake, calling out to Liam as I went. "Hi!"
Come on, help me push the boat out onto the lake.
I joined Liam and began to push the back of the boat. As it slipped into the water, Liam jumped into it and pulled me after him. He began to row us out into the middle of the lake. "This is so nice, Liam. It's so peaceful, isn't it?"
Yes, I've always loved coming out on the lake. When I was little, I used to spend nearly every day out in the boat in the summertime.
You must have had such a happy childhood. Liam didn't say anything for a few seconds. I looked at him, wondering if he'd heard me, but then he quickly said,
Yes, I guess I did.
I was a little concerned. Maybe he didn't have a happy childhood? But I chose to ignore it and pass off his weird reaction as nothing. Liam stopped the boat and we laid down, feeling the warmth of the sun on our bodies. As the boat rocked gently back and forth, I closed my eyes and relaxed.
I could lay here for hours.
Me too, but I'm starting to get a bit hot now. I think I'll go for a swim to cool off.
Oh no, don't do that.
Why not?
Well, I don't want to be alone. Stay on the boat with me.
Don't be silly. I'll only be gone for a few minutes.
But the water isn't that clean.
It's fine. Don't be such a worrier. I took off my shorts and dove into the water. It was icy cold and almost took my breath away. When I surfaced, Liam was looking over the side of the boat at me.
Come on, get back into the boat now.
I will in a minute. I just want to have a swim. It's so refreshing. I swam for a few meters and then dove under the water. Suddenly, I saw something out of the corner of my eye. When I realized what it was, I let out a scream. It was a woman's body lying at the bottom of the lake. It had on a maid's outfit and there was a blood stain on the chest. Her eyes were closed and the skin was blue. While shock raced through my bones, I felt myself recognize the wrinkled features of the face. It was Lucy. Ah! Want to see episode 2 of this billionaire murder mystery series? Then make sure to give this video a huge thumbs up. Stay tuned for the next episode. I dove under the water, enjoying the cool, refreshing feeling it brought to my body. Suddenly, out of the corner of my eye, I saw something. Wait, no, oh my god, it's a body! It's Lucy! Ah! Fear and panic propelled me to the surface. My heart was beating so fast, and as I burst out of the water, I gasped for breath. Liam!
What? What's the matter?
There's something in the lake! Liam helped me back onto the boat. I just lay there panting and gasping for breath.
What do you mean? What's in the lake? What did you see?
It was a body! Lucy's body! But wait a second. Before I go on, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell because you definitely won't want to miss out on any more creepy stories like this one.
It can't be Lucy. She has gone home to her family.
I'm telling you, it is her. I know what I saw. We have to call the police.
Okay, let's get back to shore.
Liam rowed the boat back to the garden edge. I just sat there shivering, not from cold, but from shock. As soon as we docked the boat, Liam jumped out and ran to the house to call the police. I just sat on the side of the lake, staring out across the water. A few minutes later, Liam came out, put a towel around my shoulders, and handed me a cup of tea.
The police will be here soon. They will probably want to ask you some questions, so you should prepare yourself. Drink this. It will make you feel better.
As I sipped on the hot, sweet tea, I thought about what I had seen in the water. The image was so vivid in my mind. How could something like that have happened to Lucy?
That sounds like the police arriving. I'll go and let them in.
A few seconds later, Liam came back with a bunch of policemen following him.
Are you the young lady that saw the body?
Yes, I am.
Can you tell us exactly what you saw?
I told the police that I had seen a body at the bottom of the lake, wearing a maid's uniform. It was definitely Lucy. I would recognize her face anywhere.
Is there anything else you can tell us?
There was a blood spot on her chest. The policemen looked at each other and then back to me.
Are you sure it was blood?
Definitely, it was bright red.
Okay, looks like we might be dealing with something serious here. We will need to get the body out of the lake. Yes, sir, I'll get on it straight away. You had better take her into the house, but please don't leave. We may need to ask you a few questions.
Liam and I went back inside the house. I'm just going to go up and get showered and into some clothes.
Okay, try not to think too much about what you saw. I'll be waiting down here for you.
Okay, thank you. By the time I got back downstairs, the police had left.
They said that Lucy was stabbed last night and dumped into the lake.
No! But why would anyone do something like that to Lucy? She was so lovely.
I know, I can't understand it either.
Suddenly, the image of those men and trucks that I had seen in the garden the night before sprung into my mind. Could they have had something to do with Lucy being attacked? Or was it just a coincidence? I decided I would stay quiet about what I had seen. I wanted to think about it all first. Anyway, at that moment, Liam's parents arrived home.
Hello, you two. Did you enjoy your morning out on the lake?
I looked at Liam and burst into tears.
What's the matter, Marley? What happened?
You two had better sit down.
You're scaring me, Liam. What's going on?
I'm afraid I've got some bad news. Lucy's body has been found at the bottom of the lake. She has been stabbed.
I thought that Liam's mom was going to pass out from the shock. Her face went completely white and her hands started shaking.
Oh my God, no! Who could have done this?
I don't know. The police are still conducting their investigation.
You don't think the murderer is still here, do you?
Liam's mom looked around her in fear.
No, Mom, the police have searched the grounds. They said there's no need for us to be concerned.
Liam's dad put his arm around his wife's shoulder.
Come on, don't be upset. There's nothing to be scared about.
As I watched him comforting her, I couldn't help but think about what Lucy had said to me the first time I met her.
Be careful around them. They're not who they appear to be.
Could they be involved in Lucy's murder somehow?
Look, we've all had a shock. I think the girls should go and have a lie down for a while. Liam, you make a cup of tea for your mom and Marley.
Okay, Dad.
I went up to my bedroom and laid down on the bed. I couldn't believe what was going on. The more I thought about it, the more suspicious I became. Who could have killed Lucy? I couldn't imagine anyone having a reason to kill her. She was such a sweet girl. Why would anyone want to get rid of her? And another thing that was puzzling me, was she actually murdered, or could it have been a freak accident of some kind? Maybe there was a simple explanation for there being blood on her clothes. She might have cut herself or something and then fell into the lake and drowned. Yes, that must be it. I'm sure once the police have done their investigation, they will find that it was all a complete accident. But then I remembered Lucy's warning to me again. She did tell me to watch out for Liam's parents. Oh, I don't know. The thoughts were whirling through my mind. I was so confused. When I heard Liam's mom and dad coming up the stairs and going into their bedroom, I decided to go and listen outside their door, just to see what they would say to each other. What I heard shocked me to the core.
Shouldn't have let them go out on the lake. Never would have found the body.
I started freaking out. Oh my God, it's them. They are involved in this. What am I gonna do? I heard Liam coming up the stairs, so I quickly ran back to my bedroom and lay down on the bed.
Here you are. Drink this.
I took the cup of tea from him. Thank you. It's just all such a shock.
I know. I can't quite believe it either.
I decided I wouldn't tell him what I had overheard his parents saying. Well, at the end of the day, they are his family. I think I'm just going to have an early night, if that's okay. I'm mentally exhausted and just need a good night's sleep.
Of course, of course. Just give me a shout if you need anything in the night. Don't worry what time it is.
I smiled at Liam. Thank you. You're so sweet. As I watched him leave the room, I wondered how on earth I was going to tell him that I thought it was his parents that had killed Lucy. He'll be devastated. I thought that I would never be able to get to sleep after what had happened, but surprisingly, I was soon snoring away. I was in the middle of a very deep sleep when something disturbed me. I opened my eyes. Ah! There, standing straight in front of me, staring at me, was Lucy. I was shocked to see her. She looked really weird. There was a strange look in her eye and it made me feel really scared. The hairs on my arms started standing up on end and a shiver ran through my spine. The next thing I knew, I was waking up and it was morning. The bright morning sunshine was streaming in through the gap in the curtains, lighting up my room. Oh, it was just a dream. I shook my head. Wow, that was weird. I hope that doesn't happen to me again. I showered and went downstairs. Liam and his parents were sitting having breakfast.
Are you hungry? There's plenty here.
Not really. I think I'll just have some juice if that's okay.
Sure, but you must eat.
Yes, I know. I will do, but later on.
The police are coming here in about an hour. They want to ask us some more questions.
But I've told them everything I know.
I know, but they probably just want to go over it again to make sure they don't miss anything.
Oh, right. Okay. When the police arrived, Liam and I went into the lounge with them and sat down. I was expecting them to start immediately questioning me, but instead they seemed more interested in Liam and what he had been doing the night before Lucy's disappearance.
Can you tell us your movements on the night in question?
Well, I was at home, here.
Why are you questioning Liam? He didn't have anything to do with it. I was with him all night.
So you can corroborate his alibi?
You shouldn't be suspicious of him. He's the kindest, most gentle guy you will ever meet. He would never hurt Lucy. I was really angry with the police for being suspicious of Liam.
It's okay, Marley. They're only doing their job.
Do you think I could get a glass of water, please? Liam looked at the policeman to see if it was okay.
Yes, go on then, but don't be long.
As soon as Liam had left the room to get me a glass of water, I turned to the policeman. Look, you are definitely looking at the wrong person. There's no way Liam is the one that killed Lucy.
How can you be so sure?
Because I think I know who did it.
Who?
I told the policeman all about my suspicions, about Lucy warning me about Liam's parents, and me seeing the trucks and people in the garden the night before Lucy's body was discovered. You see, don't you think there's something strange about it all?
Well, you have certainly given us something to work on. We will look into it straight away.
Please don't tell Liam. I haven't mentioned any of this to him.
No, of course we won't say anything.
Here, Marley, here's your water.
I took the glass from Liam and started to drink the water.
Well, I think we have all that we need now. If you think of anything else, anything at all that you think may help with the investigation, please give us a call.
We will. When the police had left, Liam came back into the room.
What was all that about?
I know. I don't know why they would be questioning you.
Me neither. Thank goodness you were with me all night and could back up my alibi.
Let's just forget about it now. We spent the rest of the day just lazing around and watching TV. We were trying to bring some normality back into our lives after the events of the previous couple of days.
Do you want to go out for dinner tonight?
Not really. I'm not sure I could eat anything much.
Okay, how about we just order in a pizza or something then? Have a quiet night at home.
That sounds perfect. As I snuggled up to Liam on the sofa, munching on the pizza, I couldn't help wondering what was going to happen to his parents. Will they go to prison? What if the police tell Liam that I am the one that told them it was his parents that killed Lucy? I try to push the thoughts to the back of my mind and just enjoy the evening, but every so often they would creep back in. Liam could sense that there was something wrong with me.
Are you okay, Marley? You seem really distant.
I know, I'm sorry. I think I'm just tired. This ordeal has taken its toll on me. Maybe I should have another early night.
I think that would be a good idea. You go on up. I'm sure everything will look much better in the morning.
But how wrong Liam was. The next morning, things were far from better. In fact, they were much worse. Early in the morning, about 7 a.m., I heard a loud knocking on the front door.
Open up, it's the police!
By the time I had got down the stairs, Liam and his parents were already standing at the front door.
What is it, officer?
We've come to make an arrest.
Liam and his parents all looked at each other in shock. I wasn't surprised at all.
Well, come in, I suppose.
The policeman came into the house. They must have found the evidence they needed. I knew it. I knew that Liam's parents were responsible for Lucy's murder.
Do you know who the murderer is?
Yes, miss, we do. You are under arrest for the murder of Lucy.
I looked at Liam's parents to see their reaction. But instead of handcuffing them, the police put the handcuffs on Liam. No! If you want to see the next installment of this billionaire murder mystery story, make sure you give this video a great big like for the 3rd episode.